Hello. Let's see. Get everybody back in here and it all.
But they can't see me. Can they see?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that.
Hi,
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Where are you at?
I no. Don't mind my face. I was just looking at something I didn't do. I am in Atlanta,
Okay.
and see, your host is right there. We just got cut off a second, so
Yeah,
we had a problem. So it's straight now, but I'm
okay.
not Tracy.
I was wondering. I've never seen Tracy. I have seen
Yeah.
her, her picture, but I've never actually talked to her.
Right.
Okay. We're trying to figure out how we can see more people. You want to see if it's?
Okay.
Oh, just a minute. My husband's with me. He's my tech guy.
Oh, really? Okay. I need one
Well,
of.
not really, but. Um, What about participants? Well, we got a few.
All right. Wait a minute. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see more.
Now you see everybody? Okay.
Yeah, there are five of us, right, so far?
Yes. A couple more that we may have. Oh no, there are a few more. There are a few more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
So, okay, sorry about what just happened. Tracy got on and tried to do something on the account, and yeah, so I knew immediately what happened when I saw it. So
and that kicked us all off, huh?
yes.
Is that what did it? Okay.
Yeah, so I called her, and so we're straight now.
Sean, that's Christine Armand that's just coming on. She was at the first and the second one. I don't know if you remember her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Good to see you. We're giving everyone a few minutes to get on. It's about 6:04, and we have a few more who are getting on.
Okay.
So if you guys click in the upper, what hand is that? Right hand corner, you may see something, if you put your cursor up there, something that says view, and you could switch from a couple of different views. One is, well, like for mine, it's the speaker view, and then there's gallery view. Gallery view will put everybody's, it'll look like the Brady Bunch board. When you click that. Yeah. So if you want to click it so you see everyone's
I think you did it.
camera.
Push more.
Okay.
So Joyce has a special tech guide with her. Not everybody has that. Not everybody could be so lucky.
Thank you, tech guy. They used to have cable guys before, remember?
Yeah, right.
Right. Cable guy, tech guy. So we shall give them till 4 more minutes till it's 10 after, and then I think we should get started. What do you think? Did Tracy get on again?
It's fine. Did Tracy? No. Oh no. You know who we're missing? We're missing Miss Morris. Miss Morris. What's Miss Morris? Angie Morris. Angie Morris.
Oh, she's trying to get back on again. Oh my goodness. It took all afternoon to get her on. Angie, are you there? Uh-oh. I'll tell her start over. I see she's texting me. Okay. So who was on? I'm just wondering, Miss Reese, is it? Who is that?
Renita. Yeah, Renita's still. She's there. Renita. Um,
Hello, everyone.
hey, hey.
Hi.
I'm here with my mom also. She's here also.
Oh, hey, big cuz.
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay.
You know you're gonna have to come up on that camera and let me see you. You
No.
you can wait a minute if you want, but you know I'm gonna have to see you.
Okay, someone else told me they were coming on. Um,
So yeah, definitely make sure you get the folks we lost.
right. Did we lose anyone else? Let me see. Miss
Um,
Miss Morris. Someone else is coming in. Oh, there's Emily. We'll admit Emily. Okay. And I know there's some more folks coming on, but they'll just have to come on. They can join us in whenever.
yeah, well, let's make sure you get um Angie back on because we dropped her. I don't want
She's
her.
not as technically. Let me check and see.
Well, you know what you could do? You can send her we can send her an invite or email her another invite. So we can do that.
Okay, I gotta move over though.
Well, no, do you not know? Do you know how to do that? Here, let me do that. I just copied an email link, and you could just tell her to answer her email. Um,
Okay.
if you give me her email address.
Imani34@gmail.com.
Okay,
IMANI.
give me a second. I don't have a tech guy, so I gotta move.
Dang it.
I move slower. Okay, let me copy the link. All right, so all right, now you can give it to me.
IMANI 34 at
34
gmail.com.
gmail.com. Okay.
Wait a minute. There she is. Hold up. There she
Oh,
is. I just admitted her. Angie, you're
okay.
back.
Okay. Well, I guess
I think she's back. And I think this is good. This is 1, 2,
okay.
3,
There she
4,
is.
5, 6, 7. There's 7 of us so far. And I know more are coming. Where's Emily? No, there's
Here
8.
I am.
Hi, Em. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay. Do you see Michelle up there?
No,
Yeah.
I just see you and I see Sean.
Hit your gallery
Oh,
button. Hit the
Okay.
gallery button at the top. And Rebecca Laurent is on. Hello, Rebecca Laurent.
Hi, Rebecca. Lamont.
And Joyce Gates, Michelle, Christine Armand. Hello, hello, everybody.
Oh, you have me as Mickey. So
I
they may
didn't.
not recognize Michelle.
Did I do that, Michelle?
I don't know. Well, maybe. I don't know.
That's on your end.
Okay, well, I don't have a tech person either. So, hi, everybody. I'm a friend of Linda's.
I can change your name if you want.
Oh, no.
Michelle.
We'll leave it Mickey.
Okay.
Do people call you Mickey?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay.
All
All
the
right.
time.
Well,
Good
then that'll
friend.
work.
If
Then that'll
they've
work. All
known me
right.
a long time, I'm Mickey.
Okay. All right.
Angie, are
But
you with us?
I had Tracy's name on mine, so people don't call me Tracy. So
Right. Oh, I hear Angie.
where
She's
Rebecca
back.
go? Where Rebecca go?
She's still here.
She is. Okay. All right.
Okay.
She
Mhm.
knows how to handle herself too. She knows all.
Yeah, she can navigate this.
Then I do. Then I can. Okay. I
Okay.
guess I'll shut up then. Let you do your thing.
I think we're good to go, guys. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm a little afraid to do this screen sharing again because when I clicked on it, that's when I lost you. So I thought it was something I
No.
did.
Yeah. Yeah. It had nothing to do with you.
Okay, it had nothing
Nothing
to
at
do with
all.
me. Okay, I'm a
No.
little afraid though. So I'm just going to wing it like here. But this is welcome everybody to the Nichols/Nicholas family micro reunion hosted by MCCHPS. I think our piece MCC is it historical first? I can't hear you, Sean. You muted yourself.
Just to unmute.
No, yeah, okay. I was also doing it in my head. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, Mobile Creole Cultural and Historical Preservation Society.
Society. It's a
It's a
mouthful.
mouthful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a mouthful. So we're going to introduce ourselves. And as you know, most of you all know, my name is Linda. And I learned about the Creole Society through a wonderful person named Nicole Jones, who is a distant relative of ours. But she does this incredible research. She lives in New York City. And I'll tell you a little bit about her story first. She had a serious accident many years ago, which left her as a paraplegic and with some head injuries. So her doctor encouraged her to do something that would keep her active. And so she took up ancestry and found out that her family also originates from Mobile, Alabama. And then she found out, we did our DNA and found out we're related. And she hooked me up with the Mobile Creole Cultural Historical Preservation Society. I don't know if I said it right, but one day I will.
Pretty good.
Okay, but that is how I learned about the program. And I started going down there 2 years ago, 2018 and
Linda, you
2019.
froze a little bit.
What did she say?
She said you were frozen.
Oh,
Just a little bit.
Oh,
But you're back now.
okay. So anyway, 2018 and 2019, I went for the reunions down there, and then COVID hit. So there's no, Emily, your screen is doing something wild and crazy. Can you
I
all see
know,
that?
and I'm trying to figure out how to fix it.
Okay. So anyway, that is how I came to be involved with this Creole Society. In addition to that, my own family in 1921, our own family, Chris and I are related too. Our relatives came from, we're part of the big migration from the south to the north, and they came to Chicago, and they were Fleming. So I am not related to the Nichols that I know of, but there are many Nichols that have been married into our side of the family, which were Flemings, Mifflins, and Barnets, Barneys. So that's our line, but we have some Nichols married in there. And when we went last year, we went cemetery hopping, and we found Nichols grave sites along with our Mifflin gravesite that we'd been looking for, so in Magnolia Cemetery. So it was quite a find. We had a good time, and in light of COVID, we are meeting now. And I would like each of you all to say something about why you're here and why you're interested in this DNA trek that this ancestry trek that we're all doing. And then I'd like to read you something after that. So let's see, who do we start with? Michelle, I see you first.
See me first. Hi, I'm Michelle Kemp, and Linda and I have been friends forever since we were little girls. And she's my son's godmother, and so we have very strong ties. I want to say hi to Emily and Christine. Christine, it's good to see you, and I'm take my condolences for the
Thank you.
loss of your mom.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look beautiful. Linda and I have been talking about ancestry and genealogy for some years now. I've been retired from teaching for about 3 years, so I've had plenty of time to, that's what I've been doing. So it's like it's more than a hobby. It's a wonderful thing to find out who you are. I thought I had this small family, and now I realize there's no such thing as small families. I have roots in from Louisiana, so that interests me that Linda, brought up the Creole thing. She told me about her past trips to Mobile. So I'm just here to listen and try to learn as much as I can. I do. My family comes from Williamses and Dixons in Louisiana. So that Williams name, I'm noticing. I don't know whether you have any Louisiana roots, but
Just checking it out.
just checking
Okay,
it.
thank you, Michelle. Joyce, we're going to jump on with you.
Oh, okay. My name is Joyce Baker Gates. My connection is through Magnolia Springs. My grandmother, my great grandmother was Florence Nichols or Nicholas.
Oh,
And I don't really know that much. I got a little bit lost kind of in the weeds, but I've been doing Ancestry since about maybe 2012. I still consider myself a novice, but I'm kind of like Mickey. Once you get going on, you start finding things, you want to find more and more things. So I've been working with a cousin on the Collins side, Denise Chisley, and she's really been a big help for me. I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan. She's in Indianapolis, Indiana. So we've just been sharing some information. But like I said, I'm in the situation that Julia Nicholas
mm,
and Cecile Nichols ended up marrying, well, it gets a little complicated. We'll get to that. It's on the paper.
okay.
So when you
Yeah,
go back.
yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Emily, you're on.
Okay, I have roots from Louisiana. Both of my parents are from Louisiana, so I've been brought up in a lot of the Creole traditions. And so Linda's been telling me about her trips to Mobile, and I was scheduled to go to Mobile finally this year, but maybe next year. So I'm just very interested in genealogy. I've done some work. I'd like to do a lot more, so just interested in hearing more.
Thank you. Christine.
Okay, well, I was always a little bit interested in, ancestry from what my mother said, but I was more interested that time we went out for Indian food and you drew an impromptu family tree from memory in an Indian restaurant on the paper on the table, going back generations, and you did it all from memory. That blew my mind, and I still have that piece of paper from the Indian restaurant, years later.
Oh my.
So, yeah.
And you've been with us to
Oh
Mobile.
yeah, been to Mobile twice, and I'm just so sad that we didn't get to meet in person again this year. All of the horrible circumstances.
Hey, but Chris, could you say how you feel about Mobile?
Oh, I love Mobile. I felt at home there. It just it felt like home. And, I can't wait to go back. I just loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. Rebecca, I haven't seen you in a year. Let's talk. Let's unmute and talk.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
I'm Rebecca Laurent. I am married into the Creole family. And coming from a Anglo-American background, when I found out my husband was Creole, I just kind of really got fascinated with it really quick. And now we're looking at almost 22 years later and still just jumping in feet first and moving forward, trying to figure out what we can find.
Thank you. Are you on the board of the MCCHPS? Uh-oh.
Yes, I am National Registrar for the certification of your lineage in the society. And if you're interested, you can always hit me up and I can talk with you about it, on what it is and what you'll get if you submit your paperwork.
Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to talking with you. Thank you. We're going to move
All right.
to
Looking forward to it.
Renita Reese. Can we unmute you? Renita, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Lydia, can you see me? So
There
I'm
are
here
two
with
people.
my mom, Rosemary.
Oh.
And of course, my interest comes from her growing up, hearing about all the different families. Seems like we're related to everyone. So growing up, she had like pictures and stuff from family, and she would tell me stories. And when my grandmother was living, she would tell me about the family. So I'm just here to learn more. I'm kind of new getting into it. I have a little bit. I started like on Ancestry.com a few years ago, but I'm still building my tree.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see who's Angie. Are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Angie Morris, and I've been knowing Coach for God knows how long. Our sons play soccer together.
Wait, excuse me, Angie.
Yes,
Who is Coach?
Coach Linda Solis.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I just know her as Coach. That's all my kids. They say Coach, and sorry about that. So anyway, I've only been doing Ancestry for just a few years, and I've always been interested in it. I remember as a kid asking my mom, how do you pronounce Bajoie? She said, I don't know, that's my grandmother's name. And her grandmother spoke French, and she spoke Creole. So when my mother would go down there as a kid, they couldn't communicate, but they knew they loved one another. And I just thought that was so touching. So anyway, my people from Louisiana were born in Point Coupé, and the family names, Ledoux married a Lefroy, so that's my grandparents. And some of the family names are Zamay, Marcelin, Gosserin, and Dequire. And the original Ledoux came from Le Mans, France. So we have that documented in a book because somebody wrote about them. And so that's it about me.
Very nice.
Hello
Thank you.
to everybody there. I can't see everybody,
Hello.
but just hello and welcome.
Well, hello there. Okay, we're going to move over to Barja Wilson. I know you. Barja, are you there? I think she has to unmute.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, it was taking me a minute to hit the unmute button.
That's okay.
Just kind of join in, but of course I'm Barja. Currently
goes back to studio or
with the
number
Creole
two.
Society. I don't have any relations to the Nichols or Weeks family, but I just kind of wanted to sit in to learn a little bit more.
Thank you. And it's good to, I don't see you, but it's good to hear your voice because Barja's one, you are from Mobile, right?
Correct.
Okay. There's a few of us from Chicago up here. Rebecca, where do you live?
I live south of Houston.
South of Houston in Texas. And then
Yeah.
Joyce is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, right?
Mhm.
And so we have people from, at least sounds like this Central Standard Time zone, but up and down it. So let's see. Mr. Sean, I was saving the best for last. Or is there somebody else? Did I miss somebody?
Oh, Mr. Brown, Terry Brown.
Oh, Miss Brown. Terry Brown, are you
Oh,
on?
okay.
Terry?
You can unmute, I think.
Let's see, she has to unmute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I can't. Terry, we need to
Hi.
hear from you. Can you tell us where you're coming from and who
Chicago.
you are?
I'm a friend of the family.
Thank you. Are you being shy?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Well, we will keep moving then. So I'm missing a face right now. Sean, Sean. Hello?
Yeah.
There you are.
Yes, I am. I'm the other non-Nicholas. Well, yeah, one of the three. So I'm not.
No. Sorry, took me a minute, but no.
But so I am the vice president of the Mobile Creole Cultural and Historical Preservation Society, and I am involved with organizing these micro.
I'm gonna do it for this one, and then
Dan,
when he gets back
and
online,
Linda. I'm here to assist Linda tonight.
Thank you. Dr. Sean is a founding member of the Creole Society. Can you tell us more about how this came to be?
Okay, some of you might be connected to the Facebook group Mobile Creole Connections, which was started by Tracy Neely some time ago that I can't remember. I in very recent years, only in recent years, discovered that I had some Creole connection through, and I knew I had a Mobile connection, but I did not understand that I had a Creole ancestral connection. And I joined that group, that Facebook group that Linda that Tracy had started, like some of you did, and that's how I became friends with Tracy. And so I after a while contacted Tracy and suggested to her that it would be a great idea if we could do an event, a Mobile Creole family reunion. So I told her about that, and I told her that she should do it, right? And I was able to maneuver her into to do that, and she liked the idea. And then we said, okay, well, we need an organization to manage that, and that's how we came up with the Mobile Creole Cultural and Historical Preservation Society. And we've been going. We have a couple of other. I know Barja is with the original board member, and I'm not sure Rebecca is either part of the first group or really close to it, but she's also a board member. And we've been going strong for the last couple of years. And so it was always my idea to do the micro reunion thing, even in our face-to-face gatherings, but we never got around to doing it to that extent. So this is sort of a start of that. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, because when we do get together, we have a great time. All the hard work you guys do, you just make us come back with lots of memories and wanting more. And like all of you all, I'm sure we all have fallen down the ancestry rabbit hole trying to find more and more information about our relatives. So I would like to read you all something I found on the internet. You may have heard it, so just bear with me. It's called Ancestral Mathematics. Okay, we have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 grandparents, 16 second great grandparents. Now we're getting big. 32 third great grandparents, 64 fourth great grandparents, 128 fifth great grandparents, 256 sixth great grandparents. This is a mouthful to say. 512 seventh great grandparents, 1,024 eighth great grandparents, 2,048 ninth great grandparents. And for you to be here today, from the 12 previous generations, you needed a total of 4,094 great ancestors. Wait, it's actually more than that. Those are just the grandparents. Those do not include the sisters and the brothers and the aunts and the uncles that were along with those great grandparents. And so for the last 400 years, it's over 4,000 people. Think for a moment, how many struggles, how many battles, how many difficulties, how much sadness, how much happiness, how many love stories, how many expressions of hope for the future did your ancestors have to undergo for you to exist in this present moment? Something to think about. So to all of you here tonight, I say thank you. Thank you for sharing your time and being here as part of this. And to the ancestors, I say thank you for making you be here. So that's my welcome. Okay, we're moving on. And we're going to talk about anyone who has anything to share about the Nichols/Nicholas family. When Sean asked me to do this, I was like, okay, I only have heard the Nichols family and the Nicholas family in a little bit of the research that that I spoke about, Nicole Jones talked about earlier. But it's so big. There's so many Nichols/Nicholas people from Mobile, Alabama, that I just am overwhelmed. So I Googled and I went down that rabbit hole, and it's so much that I would like to learn more. So anyone who knows, you may jump in. We're going to we can just talk about it all we want right now. I see Rebecca's thinking. She knows some stuff. I know you know some stuff, Rebecca. I'm putting you on blast right now.
Yeah, I'm related to the Nicholas family twice in 2 different generations. And that's one thing that I wanted to interject about your mathematics is Creoles don't figure into that math very well because there was a lot of intermarrying.
But no, in order to get to that point, you have to have those many parents in the first place. You know, whether they were Creole or whatever,
Right.
there are your parents, regardless of how they were classified, you know?
I think she's trying to say that some of them count twice or more.
Well,
is that what you're saying,
yeah.
Rebecca?
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
Yeah, I joke that my husband is, you know, his own grandfather, you know, because the tree circles often.
Gotcha. I understand. Okay. Well, let's keep going. So you said you have Nichols on 2 different sides of your husband's family. Which Nichols?
I have Nicholas.
Nicholas. Well, I'm not sure which is which. They kind of mix and mix up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
did you find that?
There are variants.
I find that Nichols pretty much sticks to Baldwin County, which I might be wrong, but the Nicholas that I'm referring to comes originally, or as far back as we can get so far, is from Mississippi and then jumps into Mobile.
Well, they're all over down there. I mean, it's so varied. There's so many Nichols/Nicholas. I can't distinguish them. Joyce, could you lend in some information with that?
Well, I was just trying to check here what I have, and this is where I got confused, and I was hoping someone could help me. I have that this Nicholas Augustine Nicholas, and I'm confused about that. But anyway, he would be my second great grandfather. And he, I think, was married to Mary Louise De Silva. Does any of that sound familiar?
Oh, I've heard of De Silva. Yes.
Okay. And so they ended up having, well, they had quite a few children, but Florence Cecile Augustine Nicholas turned out to be, as I said, my great grandmother, and she had a sister, Cecilia Augustine Nicholas. And so Florence was my grandfather's mother. Cecilia, let me get this straight, was who was talking about they intermarry? Who just said that a few minutes ago? Anyway, they intermarried. The first cousins intermarried. And of course they were Catholic, so they had to have the special dispensation from the church. And so Charlie Baker married Georgiana Collins. And so that's my connection, is through the Collinses. But I also have this Nicholas, and I noticed that this Nicholas Augustine Nicholas was in Baldwin County. So I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him, if, you know, there's any connection. Have you ever heard of the Mary Louise da Silva? There's quite a few children, like I said, but they're all Nicholases.
Anybody?
Anybody?
I've seen those names come up in the
Mhm.
large ancestry tree, the Da
Mhm.
Silva name, the
Mhm.
Nichols name, and I know
Mhm.
that a lot of our relatives married um, a lot of those folks.
Right.
So our names are like, I was hoping that Nicole could join us because she is like a master. She has this master tree that is quite impressive with thousands of names on it. But
Mhm.
there are Da Silvas. There are some, I remember the name Cecilia because I have an aunt named Cecilia.
Okay.
And you just wonder who were these people named from. Dr. Sean, you said at one of the reunions we went to, I'm going to hold you to this, Rebecca or anyone else who was there, let me know if this sounds familiar. You said during one of your one of the presentations that the people back then, like back in the 1800s, or they say way back, what they say way back long time ago, that the people married within a 6 mile radius
Yep.
of where they lived.
Mhm.
And that was common
Mhm.
to do that. Am I correct? Did I hear that?
That's what
I
my
think,
dad said. Yeah, that's what my dad said.
yeah,
Because
I
they
think,
couldn't, yeah, they couldn't jump on a plane. So they just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I think I heard that too. I don't think I said that though.
Okay.
I think but I think I
You
did.
heard it too, though.
Yes.
Okay. I won't hold you to it. But so that's how we get cousins. And in the Bible, cousins are the only people they prohibit you to. I mean, they don't prohibit you from marrying as your cousin. I mean, the Bible will say you can't marry, you know, la 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 la. But somebody left off cousins when they rewrote it or whatever. I don't understand. But so a lot of cousins married. There was a lot of intermarrying going on. So and then, like Rebecca said, the slave owners, they married, or they got with their slave women and procreated with them and made lots of babies and had lots of more Nichols and Nicholases around there. They were a big prominent family in that area. And not only did they have all of their children, then they had all of their other children. Which you brought up, everybody was Catholic too. So I didn't know that they had to get a special dispensation from the church. Anyone know about any of that?
I just read that somewhere.
I've
But
heard of that.
yeah.
Just Emily.
I don't know about a special, dispensation from the church, but if you think of the class culture, just to put it simply, the whites were the high class, and I'm not trying to play, racism here, but that's how it was. And then the Creoles were just below them. And then there was the free blacks and then the slaves. So the Creoles, that's why they would intermarry quite a bit, is because they wanted to stay within their class and legitimately through the church because they couldn't marry legally or even legitimately via different classes. And that's why we have, the beginning of the Creoles is, white men, for the most part, having long-term relationships with colored
They're
women,
slaves.
whether they were black or free color, or even their slaves. Yeah, and it really depends on family of what status we're actually talking about. But it is fascinating to see, the difference in Mobile. They tend to stick with one one relationship through their whole life versus, the Creoles in New Orleans, it was just flings or a second, like a more of a second wife or a second concubine. So those are different dynamics that I think is very interesting in the Mobile culture.
Thank you. Angie Morris, I believe you have some information about the Louisiana Creoles, correct?
Yeah, well.
Could you share with us, please?
Okay, so let me say this. I'm sorry that you guys can't see me, but my computer doesn't have an eye on it for a camera. But at any rate, 2 years ago, I went down to New Orleans for the Ferdinand family reunion, and I was talking to a cousin, last name of Bourgeois. And let me say something interesting about that name. When I was down there about 15 years ago, and I learned how to enunciate and pronounce that name. So at the meeting that Friday, someone introduced the family, and they said, "This is the Bourgeois family, blah blah." When we went to the picnic that Saturday, whoever was talking said, "This is the Bourgeois, da da da," and then the priest on Sunday said, "This is the bourgeois." So I heard 3 different enunciations. And I found out that some of the bourgeois do not even talk to the bourgeois because they enunciated differently. So some of them lived in New Orleans and the others lived in New Roads. My people are basically New Roads in New Orleans. And so, even though there was nothing other than a name to separate them, that's what happened, and they aren't speaking to this day. Another thing about when I went down 2 years ago, I feel like I got a lesson on colorism. So this cousin that I was talking to, we're both in our 60s. So she was telling me that her mother had a mental illness, that both her parents are Creole, and her father, helped take care of the kids. But on the weekend, every weekend, one of the family members came and got one of the kids because they come from a family of 8. She was the only child not taken. So I asked her, why not? And she said it had to do with 2 things. One had to do with color. So I'm looking at her and I'm saying to myself, you're lighter than me. And I said, well, what color are you? And so she said, I'm an olive tone. And she said the other thing had to do with her hair. So because her hair was not curly, so between the hair and the complexion, she was left at home. So she has siblings that have freckles. She has a brother that's redhead. Her sister that I met, if she didn't tell me her sister was my cousin, I just thought she would have been a white woman that I was talking to. And so, like I say, naturally, that has really scarred my cousin because she can talk about it today, just like it happened yesterday. So she never got to go any weekend. So another thing was, she asked me, how did I get into the family? And I thought that was kind of odd because she knows my mom. And so I just kind of looked at her for a minute and I said, because of, who my grandfather is, he's a Lefroy. So anyway, after that, another thing was, wherever they lived in New Orleans as kids, they lived next to a projects, and they weren't in the 9th Ward. But she said Creoles were only supposed to mingle with Creoles. So they lived in a house. The project was next door. And every time one of her siblings played with a child out of the project, they got a spanking. So their parents told them, don't play with those Negroes. And so I said, really? And she said, yes. And she said, we weren't supposed to play with them. And I said, well, what color are you, cuz? And she said, I'm Creole. And I just said to myself, Creole must be a color. Okay. So, anyway, what you say? Okay, go on. You can take it. Go. Go on and speak. You can go on and speak.
Oh, go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah.
She could see you.
Tell her she can speak.
You have to unmute.
Unmute your there you go. Let's see.
She's still muted.
You,
Okay.
okay.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask, and I think you and I talked about it, Linda, exactly what determines a person as a Creole?
That's
And
a good question.
I know that you can't really figure that out from Ancestry, but because through Ancestry, I found out I had a lot of Louisiana ties on both sides of my family.
Mm-hmm.
What does a person, how does a person be identified as Creole?
That's a very good question, and I'm going to ask Barja, are you still with us? Or Sean, do you want to answer that, Sean?
Yeah, actually, that was one of in our first, I think, in our very first gathering in Mobile, that was one of the things that I talked about. No, it wasn't. You know, in our newsletter. If you get
Yes.
newsletter, you should try to get our newsletter, our journal. When the first piece that I wrote was, I think it's the only piece I wrote, yeah, was about Creole identity. And it was actually talking about this issue. Well, you know, this, first of all, this concept of race itself, you probably heard people say is a very artificial construct, right? And of course, Creole is very artificial, you know. See, I like when I talk about my Creole ancestry, I make it very clear that, you know, in fact, that was like the title of the article I wrote, is a non-Creole Creole descendant talks about identity. Yeah, that's what so it's a so people who identify as Creole, and that's how when we wrote out our mission statement, we talked about the Creole as an identity and what we mean by that. And this organization is really for those who are interested in research relating to people of coastal Alabama who have identified as Creoles, right? So so basically what we have is in just a few pockets of the United States, you have a color caste system, you know, where, because generally the way white supremacy works, institutional white supremacy works, it doesn't really pay attention to color, it pays attention to the cultural group to which one belongs. So traditionally, throughout most of the United States, racism is the idea that that Europeans and European culture is superior, and African culture, African people and African culture is inferior. So so it didn't matter skin complexion, right? In most places in the United States. So Africans in America being mixed, intermixing with other groups would of course produce various different shades, including shades of folks who could appear visually white, right? So in most places in the United States, if a person was of African parentage but looked white, that person might be able to pass for white, but once that person's parentage was discovered, then that person will be ostracized, which tells us, okay, it's not just a matter of skin color, it's a matter of association. The exceptions, though, in America led to the development of this Creole culture. So in pockets like Louisiana, Mobile, and South Carolina, you had a color caste system that was similar to the color caste system in South Africa, where you had Black, white, and coloreds, right? Which would be the in-between group. So in America, we call that in-between group Creole.
Creole.
You know, so
Creole.
Yeah, so that's what. So the short answer is those folks chose to identify themselves as something other than African and other than European, mostly because they couldn't identify as European, but and did not want the stigma and political ostracization that came with being African. So Creole became sort of the create, but but you can have the same kind of mixture among people of African descent in America, and they won't identify as Creole because that culture of labeling developed in just these places, Louisiana, in those pockets, All right, that was too much, you shouldn't ask the professor to talk.
I also assume that it has something to do with the French.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Can we say that when I went to that first Mobile Creole reunion, that they were selling T-shirts, and that T-shirts were so cute. They said that the Creole was like a gumbo, and the gumbo had German, French, Spanish. It had Native American in it, and it had any kind of the European folks that came over and intermixed. So the Creole reference was a gumbo pot, a big mixture. So, and any types of mixture, many types of mixture. So it's just a collection, correct?
Yeah, and I should probably clarify that, often when you hear the term, it can be meant in a number of different ways. Essentially, the word Creole means mixture. And of course, Creole is a French word. But you have some folks who, you might hear the term French Creole or Spanish Creole. Generally, it almost always involves a mixture of African up in the mix. At least
that's right. Right.
But you find the word Creole used even outside of America to indicate a mixture.
Right.
Talk about creolization of language.
I remember hearing
I was
that.
really speaking to the definition of Creole within.
Right. I appreciate
circles.
that.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a show and tell, then I'm going to hush up. I ran upstairs when this conversation came up about just cultures and people growing up a certain way. And I think it was a few months ago, or maybe even last year, there was an old movie on TV with Clark Gable, who's one of my favorite actors. And I'd never seen it. And the movie is called Band of Angels. I went upstairs to find it. Probably is upside down or
no, it's good.
Do you see it? You can see it. And I think I discussed it with you, Linda. So it gave you an actual touch of what we were speaking of, but with the Hollywood treatment. And it's actually about a civil war. During a plantation owner who has a secret past of slave trading. And this one Southern belle, her father died and lost the plantation, of course, when the war ended. And they found out that she was actually a slave woman's child. Her life turned upside down. So it centers in New Orleans, some parts of Louisiana. Sidney Poitier is in it. It gives the Hollywood version of how people, dealt with that subject. But I was so fascinated that they even approached it. So get a chance to, I actually sent off for it because when I watched the movie, people kept calling me and I'm like, oh, I want to watch this movie. So I wanted to see the whole thing, but it's called Band of Angels. And I wanted to find out more about the Creole people. I know very little about the history. So,
can you tell us when that movie was out, when it first came out?
Let me see.
I know it had to be many years ago with Clark Gable.
I don't have my glasses.
I think it was in the 50s.
He's actually older in this. So this was post Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, late 40s, early 50s. Yvonne DiCarlo.
That plays the Southern belle that found out that she was actually the daughter of a slave. It was Yvonne DiCarlo. They used to play on the
Monsters.
The Monsters. Yeah. She's beautiful.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jim.
Actually, it shows what happened when, she went from this Southern belle to knowing that she was actually Black, even though she didn't look you know, she was Creole, I guess.
Mhm, mhm.
But it's interesting how even today we still, I think Angie mentioned, people are affected by this, like being, you know, too dark or too light or whatever. So it's an interesting subject, this whole Creole thing.
Coach, can I say something else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So,
Speak up a little louder though.
okay, I'm sorry. Speaking of movies, I made sure I got Feast of All Saints for my kids because I wanted my girls to see what their life could have been like 100 years ago, like in 1890. If my mother had stayed in New Orleans, and you know, she would have had to take the girls at 16 for their cotillion so that they could be shown to the white men and they would be married. And then we learned that that's how the French quarters came about. They had to have some place to house the Creole women. And so it's an excellent movie. I tell anybody that watches it, please have your box of Kleenex.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to mention that movie.
What's the title
I said,
again?
Feast of All Saints.
yeah, it's based on a novel by Anne Rice.
Oh, Anne Rice.
Yeah, who writes the vampire novel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But this is not a vampire story. Anne Rice is actually from Louisiana.
Louisiana. Yeah.
But yeah, the film adaptation is really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really good
I'm
movie.
here to
Check it
tell
out.
you. So the other thing, oh, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
What was the title? Beast of All?
FEAST of All Saints. When I get a chance, I'm gonna run in the front and bring it back here.
Okay.
My cousin also told me that even during, well, her generation, so like I say, we both in our 60s, she told me that back then, being Creole, when you had a kid, before you had the child, it was understood that the child was light complected and the parents are light, you knew that child would be raised by you. But if the child came out darker than that brown paper bag, then you had to ask somebody in the family, would they adopt the child, and they would take the child and raise it. So, like I say, I got a good education about colorism that summer because I have two kids that are light and one that's, you know, my color, which I consider brown. And I'm like, you have to give up your kids, but it was a way of life. It was understood. And if one of your relatives was dark, they already knew that somebody in the family one day may come, you know, and ask them to adopt their kids. And of course they did. And I asked her, the child that was adopted into the other family, did they know who their real mother and father was and their siblings? And she said in most cases you did, but you didn't grow up with your siblings. You just were aware of them. You knew who your parents were, and you understood your role, that you had to be with the family of light color. So that was all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Linda, excuse me. I just wanted to point out to folks that you can probably see some chat if you activate your chat box. I don't know if it's already shown up, but so there are a few things that were typed into the chat box that's sent out to everyone. So like the names of those movies were written down by Barja and by Linda, in case you want to.
I'd also like to jump in and say that thank you all for coming, and that there is a door prize. So you got to stay to the end to find out who got the door prize, okay? But it's a very nice door prize. So so we have a little bit more to go. Does anyone else have anything to say regarding this interesting discussion on Creoleness?
I have a question. And this is probably going to muddy the waters a little bit, but so what's the difference between, you have Creoles and you have mulattoes? So how does that fit into
Very
it?
good.
Right.
A good question.
I defer to you.
Yeah, mulatto is a designation that literally refers to someone of mixed parentage, generally European and African parentage. Now, now sometimes though, you may see on, like if you've done, you know, research in researching your family history and you look through census records, you may often see the label mulatto by someone's name as an indication of race. And that does not necessarily mean, though, when you find mulatto on a census record, that person has a European and an African parent. That what that actually so sometimes that label appears on the census records because the census takers just identify people based on how they look. So if it was a light-skinned African American, they would say, well, yeah, we'll just put down mulatto. And sometimes, and I'm sure, and many people would often choose to say Creole, if depending on where you find, like in Mobile, if someone who was interviewed by a census taker, they probably would likely identify themselves that way, but that was not necessarily always taken down or written on the census records, you know. So, but mulatto basically means, yeah, being, you know, part African, part European, but yeah. But I just wanted to point out that if you find that label on documents, that may not necessarily be what that means, what that actually is.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
It was actually the term of the day back then in the 1800s. I was going to say that they used that in light of not having information like they have today. So it was just casually thrown about.
But you know, in my genealogy research, the people that in my family that were from Louisiana, if you go back and they may have been listed as mulatto, but some of my Mississippi relatives around the same, you know, in the same census time, they were listed as Black or Negro, mostly Black. I tracked a person from Louisiana in the early census. They were mulatto. By the time, if they moved up to Chicago, they became Black on the census. By 1940, they were listed as Black. So that term, it depends upon the census taker, like you said. The ones from Louisiana tend to, or that area, they tend to use that a lot.
Okay.
Where in
Yeah,
other,
also, no, I was going to say also, one of the things that you should bear in mind when you have Creole ancestry, that you may have a person who, you know, in his or her time identified as Creole, that person may be listed on records as white, Black, or mulatto. You know, so I have some ancestors, that same person might be listed on like 3 separate documents or three separate census records, and may appear by either of those terms, under either of those terms.
Exactly. I have a relative.
To add a little bit to Sean's thought, is being identified as Creole, you actually had more legal ability especially in Alabama, in southern Alabama, because people of color, or Creole of color, were considered the treaty people with the treaties of Spanish and French that passed through the lines. So you had rights as a white person in Mobile or Mobile area. For instance, you could own land, you could own your own slaves, you could go to court and represent yourself against others if you were Creole or the treaty people. So that would be something that you might want to research and look into, to kind of get a feel of why they would want to label themselves as Creole over being mulatto or even Black, you know, because they didn't have the same rights as the Creole of color.
Okay, thank you.
The label was precisely created primarily to get a sense of, to get some privilege, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Also, CRS happening here. Okay, go on, somebody.
Hi, this is Renita.
Oh, those lovely pictures. I was going to ask you about them. Please share.
Okay, so that is Alexander and Josephine Nichols. And Josephine was my great grandmother's sister. She's a Chavanagh. And my mother was going to tell you all a little bit about the Nichols history.
Thank you. Please do.
Well, I'm related on the Nichols on my maternal grandmother and grandfather's side. I mostly know of my grandmother's side by Josephine marrying Alex Nichols, and mother was quite close with her aunt, Auntie Jo, as we call her, and her children, but they moved from Mobile to Cleveland. And on the other side that I'm not familiar with, and Rebecca probably knows more of, is my maternal grandfather's uncle, B.J. Laurent, was married to a Nichols, but I am not familiar with that side. It's mostly information from my Alexander Nichols. I don't know that much about his parents, but looking in some of my grandmother and other ancestors' prayer books and all, I saw his obituary. And but I do have information somewhere who his parents was, but not tonight. I don't have it in front of me.
These are beautiful pictures. They're absolutely stunning. Thank you for sharing. And I wish you could get that information because I'm a nosy person. I'll tell you what I can relate to that. My third great grandmother, she was Harriet Mifflin. She had a brother named William Mifflin who married Olivia Nichols and moved to Cleveland, Ohio. And so there's some Ohio Nichols and Nicholas, well, the children of them. But Olivia actually came back to Mobile, and that's where she is buried. That's whose grave we were on next to in the Mifflin, in the Creole section of the Magnolia Cemetery. So it's very interesting because, Sean, you could speak about that, or can you speak about how the Magnolia Cemetery is segregated as well? Or can you?
Oh, I thought I was unmute. I thought I was muted.
Oh.
No, I cannot.
You cannot. Okay.
I actually, the person to best speak about that would be Tracy.
Tracy,
our expert on and because I'm not sure if the segregation of that cemetery was something that was sort of formally done or not. I don't know if it was. So I'm not really sure. I think for the most part it is segregated, but I'm not sure how strictly that was carried out there. But Tracy actually would know that right away. I'm
okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Could I add on? You're speaking of the cemetery. My great aunt Josephine Chavanagh Nichols, before she and her husband Alexander left Mobile, the cemetery lot was in the Brew and Nichols name because my grandmother married Maximilian Brew. But after Josephine and her family, I think they went to Pensacola, then they went to Ohio, left, so it's only in the Catholic cemetery, my mother's people. But anyhow, I did have finally contact, I guess being on DNA, my Auntie Jo, as we call her, grandson is on my DNA, so he contacted me. They're all in Cleveland. But in reading Alexander Nicholas's death, the little notice I found in my grandmother's prayer book, he was listed as children, you, Thelma, Francisco, Fidelis, Oliver, and I think it was, yeah, that was all. And then he said he was the brother, which I find different, the brother of Louis Thurston and Mrs. E. de Vedeni, Stella and Mrs. Aura Boraz, and Mrs. A. Colby, C-O-B-I-E. And of course, he was buried in, in Cleveland, but they all, live in Ohio now. But anyhow, like I said, they've all passed, but I did make connections with, his grandson. And one of Auntie Joe's sons, excuse me, Francisco, that we call Tat, he married a lady from Mobile named Patricia Turtle. And so I knew most of, a lot of her family in Mobile, the Turtles. And also I met two of Francisco's children. That was back in the early 50s, because I'll be 81 next month. But anyhow, so that's why I knew a little of, Alexander's side with my, great aunt, Auntie Joe. But anyhow, I noticed on DNA, there's Nicholas's turning up, Boris turning up, and so forth. But anyhow, like I said, it's quite interesting. And both of my parents being Creoles from Mobile, I guess I'm related to mostly everybody on all around, that area. So if anybody know of anyone that's related with any of these names I called out, that would help.
Thank you. That you have such a collection of names there. That's fascinating. And you said something that made me remember what I was going to say earlier. The same Mifflin that was my third great grandmother's brother. His name was William Mifflin. He married Olivia Nichols. He moved to Cleveland, Ohio. But when the census in Mobile, when he was born in 1856. The census said he was Black. No, Negro. I'm sorry, N for Negro, just a big N there. But when he died, I saw his death certificate in Cleveland, Ohio. He died white.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the reverse. Somebody said somebody went, that Michelle, I think that was you who said that somebody went from white to Black, or Creole or mulatto to Black
by the time they came to Chicago.
Well, actually, there was a what I'm going to say. He went from Negro to mulatto, and he died white on the death certificate. It said he was a white man. So, it's fascinating how we just can span the whatever suits you, and it like Sean said, it goes from whatever area you're in that suits you, that suited them, right? So that's anyone else, but thank you for sharing Renita's mother. I'm not sure what your name is, but Terry, that's fascinating.
Rosemary.
Rosemary.
I'll put it on there. You should be able to see her name. I added it, her name on there.
Oh, okay, I see.
Part of his song.
Yeah, got it.
I'm glad you mentioned the name Mifflin, because I have seen that name in a lot of the ancestry information I have here. And I've heard Mother mention the name Mifflin before, but I haven't put it together exactly what is what. And I think some of the pictures she had Mifflin on them, but I don't know exactly how that goes. But the same thing with my family. I think when Auntie Joe and them left Mobile, they went as white. And so my brother and I always laughed, because he was in Ohio, and he said, well, we got close relatives in Ohio and they don't even know I'm here,
Oh,
and so you have that on a lot of our records. We have Creole on some, we have Black on some, we have mulatto. It all depends on what area, or the census always was different. But I have the same thing, of different races on all of our records.
Right,
we
right.
do consider when people were moving from one area of the country to another, they may have chosen to pass. You know what I mean? Just start over. I'm going to Ohio.
Yes.
Start new, fresh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you could pass, a lot of people did it.
Very good.
My own aunts who migrated, the 9 aunts who migrated from Mobile in 1921 to Chicago, they were all fair skinned. Most of them were fair skinned. There were 9 of them and 2 brothers. And we were the Flemings. I don't know if anyone has Flemings on there, but they were the Flemings. And they tried to pass. When they came up to Chicago, I heard that they moved to the west side and they tried to pass. And then they couldn't pass, so they moved to an area here in Chicago where there was a Creole community, and a lot of people from Mobile and from other Louisiana, and there was that whole area was just a Creole mixture of well, that's redundant, sorry, but there were a lot of folks who didn't fit into either the white society of Chicago or the black society. So they had to make the areas where they moved work for them. So anything else? I love this chat we're having. Did I mention there's a door prize?
Yeah. The only thing I would add is I always heard this story that my grandmother was raised by another family. And maybe this kind of puts together why that might be. I never knew why she would have been raised by another family. Now, interestingly enough, she was on the fairer side, and the family that she was raised by was on the fairer side. And I know some of her other family members are maybe not so much on the fairer side. I don't know. But I don't know. It's just an interesting thing.
That goes along with what Angie was saying.
I was going to say that would relate to what Angie was saying. I guess that's a struggle that people are still dealing with. There was an episode of Blackish, it can be the funniest show, but they will get serious. And the grandmother, I forget her name, Jennifer Lewis plays her. And she talks about how she was the darkest one, the role she's playing. She was the darkest one in the family. And when they had like a family reunion or they told her to stay in the house. And it really hurt her. And so just hearing those kind of stories, I guess that's some things that people really went through.
Well, it was so bad back then. Who wanted to be black?
Yeah. My line, when they left Mobile, they went to New Orleans, and they left it all behind. My husband, which would have been the second generation that was born in New Orleans, he had no clue that he was Creole. And when I brought it up at a family reunion, I was told to keep my mouth shut, that I didn't know what I was talking about. That they had passed off as white and never looked back.
Wow.
Now, it's still an issue. I found a lot of white relatives on my ancestry. And, and I'm so excited. I'm reaching out, hey, and never heard from her. So one girl wrote back and she said, hey, it is what it is. I want to find out too how we're related. But everybody else, nope. So I said, I'm going to leave them alone. I'm not going to pressure you. It's like, there is a history here, and we have to, here in this nation, we have to own up to it. It's nothing wrong with it. And now that we have this wonderful technology, this DNA, it's uncovering a lot of rocks, And so,
absolutely. Thank you. Anything else? Feelings? Open dialogue? Okay. I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to share my screen a minute.
Can I say this?
Go ahead, please, please.
I remember being like 16, going to visit my relatives, my cousins in New Orleans, and I didn't know anything about the brown paper bag because I was raised here in Chicago, and I had some problems up here. But anyway, my cousin was really, really crazy about this young man, and he was charcoal in color, just beautiful skin, no blemishes, nothing. You know, and they were both teenagers. They were both 18 years old. And so we went out, came back, and we were on the porch. You know, you got that wraparound porch. And her mother came out. And so her mother was like, you know, it's time for him to go. And so, you know, I'm looking and I'm listening. And so, you know, we started a dialogue. So that's when the mother explained to me that, oh, they'll never get married. And I said, well, how do you know? They both seem to love one another. You know, they're really crazy about each other and they're having fun and, you know, they have a lot of things in common. And she said, oh, you don't know? And I said, no what? So she told her daughter, go in there and get that brown paper bag. So her daughter did. And she made that girl take that bag and go stand over there next to him. And I mean, he was so nice. I just cried afterwards. And she had to open up that paper bag and she said, so what do you see, cuz? And I said, I see a brown bag and I see, you know, whatever his name was. And she said, and who's darker? And I said, well, he is, of course. He's beautiful. He's just handsome. And she said, that's not the point. She says she can't marry anything darker than this brown paper bag. So that was like, you know, my first experience with it. And I was too through because she was saying it in front of the boy. And, you know, it was a thing she told me, she says, and if she marries, either one of my girls marries somebody that's darker than this bag, whatever we're leaving for them, they won't get. And you better believe it. I was just like, okay. So needless to say, she never married him. She never got married because that was something she never got over. And my cousin's in her 70s now. And, you know, it just broke her heart.
Was that in the 60s or 70s?
That was in the 60s, middle 60s. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's been eye-opening. Let me move on to, I was trying to share my screen, Sean, and I'm having a hard time trying to share my screen. But what we had else on the agenda to complete, which we're not, we have an agenda in theory, but we're not holding it to, we're not going to hold it to fire, okay? We can move around. But what I did want to suggest was these micro reunions are meant to bring about a few activities to enhance our ancestry building skills. Perhaps we can build a repository with photos and documents. We'd like to talk about some DNA family where mapping. We can map out our past through DNA. We can do creative family projects. I've done a family tree. I'll talk to you more about that later. We can start a private Facebook group with family, and you can do start new traditions. So that's one of the ideas that we can get together and do. I would like to learn more from all of you because for me, I think we're all family. We are all family and we're all connected. We're all connected in some kind of way. So I would like to, hold on a second. Where am I?
Also, Joyce is not the only person with the tech person.
Oh.
No way.
So while she's getting that together, I just wanted to expand on what she was saying. That my hope is that out of the folks we have here, that maybe one or more of you would like to involve yourself in a Nichols family related project, like what she was talking about, you know, and the Mobile Creole Cultural and Historical Preservation Society will provide some support for doing that, you know. So just wave your hand when you're ready, Linda. So, but the so one of the things, like you said, if any of you here would be interested in taking a lead or just being a part of any one of those particular projects. You know, like if you maybe you may be interested in creating like a page for the Nichols family. Well, guess she's ready. Are you ready to go now, Linda?
Almost there, almost there.
Okay.
Keep
All
going
right.
for just a second. I'm gonna move it
Okay.
over.
All
Thank you.
right. So yeah, so if so hopefully you may think about doing that, because that's a relatively easy thing. Well, doing a family group page would be a relatively easy thing to do. Some of the other things will be well, I guess they're easily too. You know, it depends on, because we can find others who will have the technical savvy to help with whatever. So, but the idea behind the DNA mapping and tree mapping is that I know some of you have had DNA tests done. I'm assuming, and if you're like me, you probably look through your DNA matches and you see people with whom you're matched. And some of those people you know, and some of those people you don't know. So one of the things that we can do that can grow out of this is that for those of you who have had your DNA done or who plan to get it done, we can connect with one another and sort of share our connections in the sense that, well, one, what is helpful for you when you're looking through your list of DNA matches, if you don't know the people with whom you match, you can't understand what that connection is about, right? So here we have a bunch of folks who are identified as Nicholases, right? And let's say you may already, first of all, raise your hand if you've done, like, say, a test through Ancestry or any of those. Raise your hand if you, okay, all right. So you may happen to match with one another right now, but you don't, maybe just meeting right today, or you may not know a person because you don't know that you're matched with on the list, because the person on the list has a username and not the real name, right? So what we're going to try to do is try to compile some information on those of us who have taken these tests to say, well, this is, I tested with, say, Ancestry, or I tested with 23andMe. My username is this, and here is my family tree, right? So ultimately what we can do is sort of compile this information together so that we could understand all of these connections, and this will help you as far as identifying and clarifying gaps in your ancestral tree that you're researching. Because once you understand, well, this person is a Nichols because she's a granddaughter of such and such, and that person is the sister of, you might find that person may be a sister of one of your ancestors or whatever. But ultimately we'll end up mapping out, that's why I call it, mapping out all of our connections and see where exactly we connect. And this will also help us to expand our knowledge of our ancestral trees, because we'll be able to identify those blind spots that exist now. So that's the idea. So what I'm working on, putting together a form that will enable us to put that information in, and I have to figure out how we're going to disseminate that. But since, of course, you signed on to this meeting, and there is so now we have the email addresses of everybody and all, and so if it's okay with each of you, you can, we'll compile a list, an email contact list out of that. So if anyone has any trouble, just let us know if you don't want to be a part of that. But we can this will grow beyond those of us who are here, you know. So we'll reach out to all those other Nicholases, you know. So, you know, and the good thing about this, if we get all of these families, different families, you know, to work in this way, then we can also map those connections in between these various families, like the Nicholases and the Brews and the Gomez's and so forth, you know. So did any of that make sense? And ask any questions if it didn't.
Yeah.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't know if any of you all can see what I'm trying to do. Can you see any of that?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay. The picture that I'm sharing, you can see the picture
Uh-huh.
Yes.
of the leaves?
Can you
Okay.
wipe it?
That
Yeah.
is a picture of the family tree that I created. It took me many years, and I shared that. Thank you, Dr. Sean, by the way. I'm sorry. Thank you for taking up the slack there. I appreciate you. Anyway, I'm having a little trouble sharing my screen fully.
Now,
I don't know.
What are you doing? Are you doing the share screen or are you sharing the application?
I was sharing the screen. I hit share
Okay.
screen.
Let's try this. Go in, come out of it for a second, do share screen and click on share screen again. And then tell me what you see. I can get you back to this real fast.
Okay. All righty. It's not coming out.
Okay. All right. Well, here's another thing. Here's another thing you can do. Can you play this this thing? Like, if you wanted to look at it, how would you look at it?
It's under Keynote, and it's in the cloud.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
play it for yourself how you would look at it on the screen, and we should see it.
Okay. I came out of it.
Okay.
I came out of it.
Okay. We'll go back to share screen, and you should see a number of different options, and one of those will say Keynote.
Okay. There it is.
Okay. So click on that, and then click share.
It has the same crooked screen again, and then click share again.
Well, after you you click on. Did you click share screen, or did you share? Did you click on where it said, what is this application called? Keynote. Because when you do share a screen, you're going to see a number of different things there, and one of them will say screen, and then the other will be your applications. One of them should say Keynote, and if you click on that, it should run just the application and not necessarily the whole thing.
It did not do it. You saw my tech person come in here and try to help me, didn't you? Okay, but she's in a meeting herself right now, so that's why.
Well, push play on this and let's see what happens.
I can't even get to that because it's I can't even push play on it.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I can't even push play. Dang it. So that's as much cussing as I could do. Sorry guys, I had a full presentation for you. But this will just I could do like this.
But so nothing happens when you go up and push that play button up top, like that cursor a little bit up, little over to your right.
Oh, I can't even get to my right. It won't move over anymore.
No, where your pointer is. You see where your pointer is? Okay.
The little blue arrow, the little blue triangle.
See the little, yeah.
Okay. Let's start here.
There you go. Did it do anything?
Let's see. Starting slideshow.
Slideshow is starting.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There you go.
Okay. But you can't see the whole thing. Can you guys see it and I can't?
I can see it. Oh, yeah.
You
Now advance the page.
Move it back over because you have moved it to the right at one point. If you can.
Right.
That's the problem. That's the problem. I was trying to get the full screen. Hold on. Let's see if I could do it.
There you go.
Okay.
In the middle.
Now I can. There we go.
Good.
But it's still not doing what it's supposed to do.
So how do you advance it? Is it supposed to play or is it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. Okay. There was some music, but
Okay, well, you can sing.
creating a visual placement for you. Not, sorry, not.
So this
This
is
is,
these are the quilts that you've done, right?
yeah, these are the quilts that I've done. Emily's up here. This is Emily's family tree from Louisiana. And let's see if I can enhance. I cannot enhance right now. And these are some, this is the beginning of that large tree I showed at the end. And the brown leaves at the bottom, they're very important. This is before, so keep this picture in mind because this is the before picture of the big one. And what these brown leaves are, these are the ancestors. These are the beginning of the ancestors that I laid out prior to doing the completed tree. And they're just quilted. This is another tree I did of family in Colombia, South America. So this is what I really want people to understand. Family is the most important treasure in our society. It must be preserved. Regardless of your present circumstances, your past life via your ancestors helped shape where you are today. Where you live and how you live is partly due to the choices that your grandparents made long time ago. This four-part collaboration of circumstances, let's see if I can move that over. I can't move it over anymore.
It's fine though. We can see
With
it.
both your maternal and paternal sets of grandparents came together to create a special being. You. Together, they made untold sacrifices in their lives in order to give their future generations a better chance at life than theirs. Just like our ancestors, we owe our future generations an even greater future. I'm a firm believer that everyone, if possible, should find a way to connect to their past through ancestry. Our ancestors lived and struggled so that we can survive and carry their legacy to greatness. Each of us have the ability to achieve an increased level of humanity and fulfillment with every generation. This is both an honor and a responsibility. This is something I found on the internet. It says, I am bound to them. I cannot look into their eyes or hear their voices. I honor their history. I cherish their lives. I will tell their stories. I will remember them. Author unknown. And this is me again. Your past is the key. Find your place in the present, your place within your family. You will discover purpose and direction, and the future is up to you. And that is, this quilt has over 650 names on it. You can't see the whole thing. Each leaf has a name on it.
Wow.
That is connected to those 9 aunts and 2 uncles that migrated from Mobile, Alabama. So this is just one half of my family tree, because the other half would be my mother's, right? And so this is the family that we know of today, and this is 650 strong at this point. I finished this in 2018. It took me 6 years.
And then tell them how big it is.
It's 6 feet by 8 feet.
Wow.
This doesn't do it justice. It is a work of art.
Wow.
If you ever get a chance to see it. Linda, tell the story about how you took it to California.
I did take it to California and did a presentation with the family, because most of the family moved. Well, of course, we moved all over the country, but there's a big contingency that lives in California. And I did 2 presentations there, and each presentation had about 70 people that came to, 70 family members that came to hear. My goal is for the family, because this is a color-coded quilt. I don't know if you could see, there are the different colors. You see there's a orange, a blue, a yellow, the green right here, purple, and it goes red, and another royal blue. But those were all the aunts that had children. There were 2 that didn't have any children, but everybody was color coded. And this started at a family reunion we had, where as everyone came in, depending which branch of the tree they came from, they were given a leaf of that color, of that aunt or that uncle. So they were to place the leaves on the tree. They're supposed to figure out where they belong on the tree. And it was a nice activity because people had to know who their grandmothers were. The very basic, who their grandmothers or great grandmothers were, in order to place their names on the tree. And then I took that template from the family reunion we had in 2012 in Chicago, and I created this tree from the template that everybody did. And my goal is for the young people to know their place on the tree, to know where their relatives came from, and to have a living legacy that they can refer to in terms of their ancestry. Because to take it just a little bit further with the violence going on, I live in Chicago, and it's extremely violent here. Every weekend there's a lot of shootings and everything. And I do believe that if these people knew where they came from, if they had a sense of purpose and direction, if they had a sense of past, they would have a future. They would know their future. They will put down these guns. They will put down these guns because our ancestors, like I read to you all before, everything that they did in order for us to be here. And it's just a travesty that they don't know where they came from in the first doggone place to have an idea where they could go in the future. So I don't mean to be so negative, but
I agree with that.
that's my goal. So when we have family reunions, I want the young people to be able to go and know what color their family, their part of the family goes to. We're all cousins. We're all related. We're all, I believe that we're all related in some way, because our generations went back many, 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 many years, and we're here. We have our generations, our ancestors have lived through these pandemics. They've done this already. And because they've done it, we are here. We have survived. And I'm thankful for all of that. So that ends Linda's presentation. I thank you all for listening. So
Beautiful.
I'm gonna, thank you. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Bravo.
Linda, I have a question. Now, you said that was one half of your family. So is that, so that's that represents your maternal side?
My paternal side.
Your paternal side.
Paternal side.
And the
thank
so
you.
the Nicholas side is connected to your maternal side, right?
No, paternal.
It's also okay. So there's some Nicholas leaves up on there on that thing.
On the lower part, those were the ancestries. Yeah, because yes, William Mifflin is one of the brown leaves at the bottom. I have a William Mifflin. I'll do an enlargement of that and send it to you guys if you want. But because William Mifflin was Harriet Mifflin's brother, older brother. And the thing is, when you do ancestry, you find so many parallels to your life. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw this out here. I was born in 1957, and my third great grandmother, Harriet Mifflin, was born in 1857. And then she had an older brother, William, born in 1856, and my oldest brother was born in 1956. So you kind of get the connections, you feel different connections, and then you see the names run down through the family, and you say, oh, we're related. You can, we can't see them. We can't look into their eyes, but in all my relatives, I'm always looking and I'm searching for, I don't know what I'm searching for. I'm just searching for a connection. That's, I think, what I'm looking for. It's a connection to how we can relate to each other. So thank you for letting me share that.
A Facebook family page?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have all the pictures from the reunion, and every time we get together, we have pictures in it. So we do have one.
I'm talking about Nicholas.
Oh, if we don't,
y'all can do that. That's what you can do.
That's a suggestion. We said have a Facebook page for the Nicholas family.
There is a Facebook group. There is already a Facebook group, and I posted the link on the chat.
Okay.
That's a great start.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a pretty decent sized group. It has 100 members in it, so y'all check it out.
Mm.
Yeah.
Aha, I see she listed, Rebecca's already listed the Nicholas Facebook book in Facebook group in the chat. Okay.
I
So
was
you can,
connected
thank you.
to a Facebook group, the Jameson family from Holly Springs, Mississippi. Last year, I was introduced on it through a young lady who connected with our DNA connected. And after that, it was a snowball. Everyone was friending me, and I got to go to 2 family reunions last year, and it was just phenomenal. Now I have cousins that I chat with on Facebook often. One that lives in, well, she lives in the suburbs of Chicago, and we're like best buddies. And I didn't know any of them 2 years ago. So, and they put pictures on, so we have a connection from Mississippi, Atlanta, just all over the place. And so with that Facebook group, I've met about maybe 40 people.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I believe that Kim Hughes, she was at the reunion last year too. She is part of the Nichols, and
Oh, she is?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I want to make sure I targeted her to make sure.
she was supposed to be on. I was waiting for her, but she could have had a late night. But yeah, she says it's the hidden or the secret part of her family that, you know, we have secrets, right? And we'll discover them more and more as we go down these rabbit holes. There are lots of secrets to uncover. And when we have to really do no judgment,
Right.
because we don't know what happened and what people went through.
No.
So as we are here, we just have to be thankful that we are here and do no judgment about why things were the way they were. There's lots of movies we could look and have fun looking at those movies, trying to see different sides of what could have possibly happened.
And
So
just celebrate the differences. I think is wonderful that you have family from all over, you know, doing different things and just learn from each other.
right. Sean, to tell you that to do my mother's side of the family, let me just share this real quick with you. It would be a heck of an endeavor. And if it took me 6 years to do the one from 2012 to 2018, my mother has, like I said, no judgment, guys. My mother has 26 siblings by her dad. And she's from Honduras in Central America. And
That's one tree by itself. That's one quilt by itself.
I don't want to tackle it. I really don't want to go there. Yeah. But they were called, the men down there are called pica flora, because they're like little hummingbirds. They go from one flower to the next, to the next, to the next. So you get the picture? So anyway, I'm not going to tackle that yet. I don't have enough time for that. But anyway, I think we're doing good. Does anyone have anything else they can add to this discussion? Because it's been wonderful, you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming here. Let me go over my notes a little bit more. I think I've covered it. Check out the chat. There is information in the chat from the movies listed and the
Facebook.
and the Facebook group, right? And if anyone needs any more information about the, we're going to get there, send them information about the Mobile Creole Historical Society, because Preservation Society, it doesn't roll off of my tongue as fast as it does with Sean here. But when we did the first meeting, we had the Louisiana Creole Society, correct? Or was it New Orleans Creole Society who came?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
They came to our presentation, and they had a whole table set up with information, and they were actually quite interested in hooking up with anyone who was from Louisiana or had a Louisiana connection. So we could possibly hook them up with the same, I think they're listed in our, see the little shameless, what do you call it? Shameless commercialing going on here. Yeah. It's not self-promotion. It's not shameless. It's not self-promotion. It's Mobile Creole Historical Mobile. Oh goodness. MCCHPS. Okay.
It's easier for me to say the words than it is to say the letters. So
Well, go ahead and say it.
Mobile Creole Cultural and Historical Preservation Society.
Thank you.
That's the
That's
only
a
way I remember
mouthful.
the letters, actually.
That's a mouthful. So, well, I'm going to ask Sean to go ahead and announce the winner of our door prize, because I don't know who the winner is. But should you announce the winner and I announce what the prize is, or you want to do both?
I can do both, I guess. Well, no, okay. Let me tell you what we have. Two winners. We have two winners.
Ooh.
So the first winner was determined by tracing, the logons, and so I've identified the door prize, the first person to walk through the door, through our virtual door. And that goes to Miss Angie Morris. And so.
Round of applause.
Thank you.
And so the second winner, I'll tell you who the winners and then tell you what the prize is. The second winner was chosen at random. So basically I took all of your names were in a hat and did a shuffle, and I had my daughters handle that part of it, and they did the shuffling and picked names out of a hat. And the person they picked was Christine Armand.
Oh,
thank you.
Our winner of our prize.
All right.
And so of course the prize is, I'm going to do a dance for you right now. I'm like, oh man, what? So no, here's the prize will be sent to you, and this is what you won. You won a Ancestry DNA kit.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Oh,
an
nice.
Ancestry DNA kit.
Thank
So,
you.
so now my advice. Now, of course, you don't necessarily have to use it for the purpose of furthering our understanding of Nichols history, but that would be great. My advice, even if you have taken it already, to see how you can use it best to help you understand more about your family history. I always advise people when they do the DNA test to test high up on the tree as possible, the elders first, but of course you can use it how you see fit. So I'm going to need I'm going to get your mailing addresses from you, and these will be sent to you within, well, I don't know, I'm not sure how soon we'll get it to you. Hopefully be within a month, but they will be sent to the address that you provide for me. So also know that we have some more events coming up. Some of you are connected to some of our other families. Renita and Rosemary are connected to about every family.
it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Right.
So so make sure that if you're able to come to our other micro reunions, we're having the one for the weeks tomorrow, and then for next week the Gomez's, and Renita, Rosemary, and I are Gomez cousins, and then the last one for the so the Gomez is next. In fact, let me show you these dates real quick, if I can. Do you see? Oops. No, I'm gonna show you these dates of these things here. Where is it? PowerPoint. There it is. Oops, share. Okay, so I didn't want to run it. Let me see if I can stop running it, but get it to move faster. So the next this weekend, I'm doing a presentation this Saturday at 11 o'clock our time. I'm gonna try to get this to stop. I didn't want this to run like this. I wanted you to see it. It's not supposed to be running while I'm talking. But this weekend I'm doing a presentation on genealogical research, getting started. So it's a sort of a basics mini virtual workshop or presentation. So for those of you who are interested this Saturday, come to it. But these are the dates of the other Gomez, the other family micro reunions that are coming up. And we will be giving out prizes for those as well. It'll probably be the same. It'll be the same prize. Don't tell anybody. Actually, you can. You can tell them. Just tell them something. It's something really nice. But I'm just joking. You know, I don't care if you tell anyone. But anyway, so I hope you guys, winners who did receive the prize, will put it to good use. And if you come to another one, there may be a chance for you to win a prize for the other one. And we'll have some future events, and maybe have some nice stuff to give away then as well.
Well, thank you so much, Sean. You've been a great co-host with me, and I appreciate it. And I love all the information I learned about the Nichols family. Joyce, keep on keeping on. You're doing great. It's just gonna open up. We're not gonna hear from you for a while once you jump in there. And the Reeses, thank you so much for the Reese family. Those pictures are absolutely wonderful and stunning. Rebecca, I want to thank you for joining us. Angie, Terry, Mickey, Emily, Barja Wilson. Let's see, who else? Did I forget anybody? Joyce, Christine, Armand, you won a prize. I won't forget you. But I think that wraps it up for us for tonight. And I'm glad to see everybody. And I learned a lot, and I intend on keep on learning. Any wrap-ups for anybody?
Okay,
I think this is Emily.
Okay, Emily, go ahead.
Now, this has been very interesting, and it makes me want to really dig into my genealogy more. I started and I stopped. I got to start again.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm here to help you. I think that's a good project during this COVID time. We're locking up for winter, guys, so we can dig in and do a lot more. Let's start with Dr. Sean on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock our time.
How can you, I don't think I signed up for that. Is there a link, or can I get?
Yeah. Do you know our I can't talk now. Our Facebook page, the Mobile Culture. Okay, you can go to that Facebook page, and it's going to be it's actually going to be shown on Facebook Live at that time. So and you can also I can send you the address, or you might be able to connect to it on that page to actually go to the Zoom, because it's going to be on Zoom, but it's going to be presented through Zoom. But you can actually watch it through easily just by watching Facebook Live at the time. Or you could log on to Zoom. And yeah.
All right.
Oh, can I say one more thing? Who else wanted to speak? Was that you, Coach Angie? You wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is Sean gonna get my address from you? Because I needed the same thing, the information from him about his Saturday, but you know what all I need, you know.
I do.
Computer, I don't, so you'll help me?
Okay, I will let him know what your address is. I will.
Yeah, and the information for Saturday, his 101.
I'm coming to see you too, Angie, so.
Oh, well, all right. Yes.
All right, I told
Even though,
you to
because I didn't get
behave.
to see your face, so you know.
Oh, okay, all right.
I told you to
So
behave.
I heard
All
you was
right.
fine. So
Thank you, ladies. I
She's one of
enjoyed
those.
myself.
Wait a minute, hold on. In the name of shameless, now I did unshameless promotion earlier. In the name of shameless promotion, on October 29th, there's a movie coming out called City So Real. And it's about Chicago and the crazy politics we have here. And my son was, he ran for mayor last year. He did get on the ballot. He ran for mayor, and it features him and some other candidates who ran for mayor, but it also talks about the climate and politics of Chicago. And I'm told, and I know that I'm in it as well. So if you would like to see something, it's October 29th. It's featured on National Geographic. I'm not sure what time it's going to air everywhere, but I am in the first one, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. There are 5 1-hour segments to it. So that's my shameless self-promotion.
Title of the series again?
What?
What's the title of the series?
City So Real.
City So Real. Okay.
By Steve James.
and I'll make a point to try to put that on our Facebook page.
Okay, I will send it
that.
to you.
Yes.
Thank you. So it's just Chicago, guys. It's just, if you want to know how Chicago is, it's crazy, but it's something different. So, and it went to Sundance, and it got a Critics' Choice and an A. So it's my only chance to be on TV. So
Except when you on
The only
Soul
chance so far, Linda, so far.
so far, right? What did you
Oh,
say,
no,
What's that,
Michelle?
Nikki?
Linda.
What?
Except when you were on Soul Train back in the
Ooh.
day with Don Cornelius.
Ooh.
She's one of the original members. She has a card, an ID card.
Uh-oh. Okay, I gotta see that.
I told you I knew her.
Can we find that on YouTube?
Yes, right.
Can we find that on YouTube?
I'm not
Soul
telling.
Train dancer.
I'm not telling.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm gonna have to. Yeah. we're
Wait,
gonna have to hunt that down.
you people in Mobile have seen me dance, so what you think? Okay.
Sean,
Anyway,
if you
it's been a
find
blast.
Sean,
It's
if
been a
you
blast,
find
you
it,
guys.
send it.
What's that?
Okay. All
Sean,
right.
if you find it, send it. I want to see it.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to post that.
Thank you.
Miss Mickey, you
Okay, look. You invited me.
I see
I
you.
had a wonderful time. It was great meeting everyone, and I learned a lot.
Thank you. And maybe you come to Mobile when we're off COVID and they do it again. Maybe we could meet you all in Mobile, because we have so much fun. You know? So thank you again. Have a good evening, and until we meet again.
Bye.
Everyone, good job, Linda.
Thank you for
Good
sharing. So
Bye-bye.
okay, bye-bye.
Inviting me.
Renita, don't go anywhere, and I'm not going to keep you long, but don't go anywhere.
Okay. I'll give them
I gotta go to the principal's office.
you're in trouble. Christine, do you want to give them your information? Do you need their information or what? How
Oh
do you
yeah,
wanna do it?
you can. I have her email address, and she has, or you can give her my email address.
Okay.
Yeah, and get it to me. So the same with Angie.
I've actually already done the test, and I wasn't sure. I don't want to be a greedy person. Should you save that prize for the next time to give to someone who hasn't done it?
Oh, you're so
Yes,
sweet, Chris. You don't want to gift it to somebody, you know?
Oh yeah, I would, but I just thought I would check first. Just wanted to do the right thing is all. Okay, I mean, I'll take it if you know.
Okay, maybe. Okay, I can. I'll check with the folks who came tonight.
Okay.
And see.
Talk about it.
That's okay.
That's very nice of you. That's
yes,
very
that's
kind
very
of you.
magnanimous.
And generous, yes,
Mhm.
magnanimous. I like it. Well, folks, till we meet again, I'm signing out. Sayonara.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Arrivederci.
Bye-bye.
All right. So I finally get to meet my cousin Rosemary. So I'm just excited about that. So I just wanted to mention one thing, or ask about it. The that photo book that you have. The
On the Nan's book.
yes, from who was it? From Florida's. You said that was Florida's book. Aunt Florida's.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Florida Gomez.
All right. So I was telling Renita, you guys, you have to you got to digitize those pictures. Whether you use it, just get a digital camera. Most of these phones are really good enough, and digitize all of those pictures, and then think about how you're going to put that book away so it can be safe. Probably lock it up somewhere, but you you definitely need to digitize those pictures. And because you have a gold mine, not just with that and all these other things. And I can't wait till this thing is over. So we were supposed to meet. We should have met like 2 or 3 years ago, since we are living in the same living in the same town.
The pictures are fading.
Yeah, but
Those pictures you're looking at came out of the album.
oh, okay. So these are from that same album. Wow. Now that picture that that you sent me on the phone, is that
Dorothea.
No.
yeah.
See, I think it is Dorothea though.
I don't think so.
On the back of the picture, it said
That was my notations.
Oh, that was her notes. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So what about that other picture of the man, that
Francisco.
Is that Francisco?
That's something else we wanted to tell you.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me tell you.
Okay, she wants to tell you something.
The picture, I don't understand if this is Rosalie Stewart or if it's Doretha. That picture.
Oh, and that
because it was taken in New Orleans, and
Okay.
both of those have New Orleans and relatives. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to do a little more research on it.
Okay, and that's this picture, right? I don't know if you can see it that one here. Oh, that's terrible. The light.
Yeah. We can see it.
Okay. All right. So that you said that's either Rosalia or Dorothea?
Yes, because it's
You have Mama Rosalia's grandmother.
I just made that note.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Tell her it was J.A. Shelton on 101 Canal Street.
Yeah,
it was taken out of J.A. Shelton.
Okay.
101 Canal.
And J.A. Sheldon was a big
Photographer, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that so but are you certain that it's one of those it's one of them?
It has to be one of those.
Okay. But one thing we can do, there are folks who can look at it and tell what year it was taken approximately.
Really?
So give us a clue. Yes, because they can tell by the clothing and but if and the other thing, if I can get some good scans, when you scan them at the highest resolution you can, because I have that I have a program, a tool that I use on MyHeritage that can do it can enhance some of the pictures, some of these old pictures.
Oh.
And so, but it has to have a high enough resolution, so if it's not generally I think about, I think 600 by 600, but as high a resolution as you can when you scan it, that will enable me to, for some of those photos that need enhancing, like that one probably might need some enhancing, and it might help with that. But what about, all right, so one other one I just wanted to ask you about real quick, and that was the last picture of, let's see, if you can, that one that you showed me, okay.
Yeah, that's Francisco.
Third.
Oh, that's something we wanted to talk to you about. On some of the, like, we were looking at some notes. There seems to be some confusion between senior, junior, and the third.
Right.
And something you said, my mom, we think you have it wrong.
Well, see, Richard Chastain did this pedigree chart for me. And he has Francisco Gomez the third married to Rosalie Stewart. And then he has Francisco Jr. married to Doretha Barrios. And I guess he's assuming that the Francisco in Spain is the senior.
Yeah. Well, let me show you the tree as I understand it, and because the person that gave me the best understanding of it is you remember Rita Calloway? Because I think you communicated with her
Oh,
before.
I don't know her. That's what I wanted to ask you about because you know, I mean, you sent me that information, but I do not know her.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to come to our gathering.
So
Because I've reached out to her, but I haven't gotten. Okay, so this is how.
she's
Oh, I
kin
like
on.
your view better than my view.
She's kin on. Well, mother called her Aunt Mandy. She came from Ramonda's side, right?
Oh, you talking about yes, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because
Calloway did. Rita
I
Calloway
have
did.
pictures of Aunt Mandy with you know, with Florida. And
Mhm.
but anyhow, I've heard mother say many times about Aunt Mandy and about the Higgins, whatever. But I did not
Mhm.
know, you know, their children. I mean, I did not know them. You know.
Right. Yeah. So I had a cousin that I spoke with. He passed a couple of years ago, but he's my mother's first cousin, and he says that he recalls. I think he recalls meeting and no, it might not have been her because when did she die? She died about she's on here somewhere. Y'all see her on here?
Who
Um
you looking for?
uh Florida. Oh, you know what? Because I don't have them all on here. This is the wrong, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
I have so much on her. Yeah,
It
Florida.
wasn't Florida. It was one of these
She died a year before I was born.
hmm.
And that's my picture you have there, you know, that I sent to Tracy.
Right, yeah. So this it's one of, he said he met one of, you know, I think there's another I'm missing some women on this line right here. Because I think my cousin he's down here somewhere. He met one of I guess one of her nieces. It would be one of her nieces. So I can't. But anyway, all right. So as far as the Gomez's, all right, this is the Gomez's. There was a Gomez here, right? Who married a Rosalie Perez,
right?
Who supposedly, yeah, and he's the father of this Francisco Gomez who married Dorothea, right? And then and that's
Well, Dorothea should have been junior.
right.
Oh man.
But sometimes, see, here's the problem. Sometimes you hear people say junior, and that was because they're dealing with the ones who are there. So the junior will be the younger of the two who are around during the time. So that's what sometimes it. But so because and then this Gomez, Francisco Gomez, born in 1924. That's the one married to Rosalia Stewart.
That's the third.
Yes, and that's the third. And so.
What's that picture?
Married,
the picture with? What is that picture with the third?
Right here. That's the tombstone, and that's just a portion of it. I have a bigger picture of it. Have you seen that tombstone in Magnolia?
Yeah, I just couldn't tell what it was when I was looking at the screen.
Right, because it's just the portion that has his name on there. Yeah, and plus that's small. But yeah, so his the 1858 Francisco Gomez is his son, and that person was married to, or at least one of his wives was Gertrude Carson, and that's where my grandmother got her name from that girl. So this is the first. So you had two Gertrude Gomez's, and four or five Franciscos, because then you got the ones down here too. But yeah, so these are the Franciscos as I know them from, and this is from Rita Calloway helped me sort of sort that out. But that one, this one, and then this one, and then this one, and yeah, and so my this is my mother's this is my mother's grandmother right here. And I got it all you know,
Now, she's the one that's the sister to Frankie.
yes,
Frankie in St. John.
yes, yes. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
Bojan?
There's St. John Gomez there. Yeah.
Yes, St. John.
Yeah, we have pictures of Bojan.
Of St. John.
Okay. Now, that's the person I was thinking of. It wasn't Aunt, he remembers meeting Aunt Frankie. That's what he called her. So,
Yeah. Mother was, real close with Frankie. And because she had married the Perez guy, Bill, with
okay.
anyhow, so I found out, the Gertrude and Frankie was sisters to St. John and to Frankie.
Right.
See, Nanan, as we call her, she died a year before I was born, but my brother remembered her so much. Of course, my brother passed. But, she moved in with my grandmother and them after her health, was
right.
declining. And also she had her own grave at the Catholic cemetery, mother said near the gate, but she wanted to be buried in the grave with my grandmother and them. So we never knew what happened to her lot,
Okay.
But I just have a lot of her information, because by her being in the house with my mom and them.
Yeah. I think Gertrude Gomez is buried in Magnolia with it, but I think she's buried more. She's buried near Joseph, her husband, in that plot.
Who's that?
So that was her. This was her husband. She married Joseph Wiley, and Joseph Wiley, and that's when. So according to the stories that were passed down to me, when Gertrude married Joseph Wiley was very dark complected, and so she was pretty much ostracized by most of the family after that. That was the story.
I mean, all of that's in my family.
Look at the picture I sent you.
Oh, okay.
I did not realize, I always thought that all my relatives was in the Catholic cemetery. And then when I started out with the Brews, I found out that, I had a lot of relatives in the Church Street Cemetery in the back of the library. Then I'm finding out a lot of the Gomez and all in the Magnolia, which I never gone over there, I just learned along what was what.
Yeah.
Dale Jupiter, she was from, she's on my Facebook page. She's from Pensacola, and she's the one that taken me to the Mormon library in Potter Springs. And she pulled up Rosalie Perez and Francisco Gomez, Rosalie Perez's will.
Okay.
And the way she will, her son Francisco, a slave. And I'm also finding out that Diane Irvine is one of her ancestors was a sibling to one of the Gomez.
Okay, so you're talking about this Rosalie Perez up here, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. Oh, okay. The grand.
This will that Dale Jupiter, got for me. And in that she willed Francisco, I guess that's the one married to Doretha, a slave.
Oh, do you know his name? The slave's name?
I'll have to look at it because it's Spanish, like all of that was Spanish.
Right.
I'm gonna look at it. I have it in my files.
Because I think I sent you something that had it was a christening record for a slave of Francisco Gomez. I think I sent it to you. If not, I'll have to make sure.
I didn't get that.
Okay, well I'll make sure I show that to you. But yeah, so yeah, because we have to. And see, I think it's really important, because as soon as when you can get some of these things scanned and we can get more eyes on them, then we can figure them out more, and because there's some, I might be able to make out some, and I could probably make some sense out of the records and things that you have to. Those two you should scan too. All of those those documents you have.
See, in my album, there was no names on it. I was just, you know, when I discovered the album for my mom, I'm going through pointing, asking her, and she's telling me, you know, and I made notes, but it was nothing,
Okay,
you know, it was just information I got from her. And it's a
from
lot
her.
of
Okay,
pictures in there that I don't even know who they are.
yeah. Well, now if you have the notes you got from her, that's better than nothing, you know. In fact, that's pretty good. She may know because she probably know, you know, pretty well. So
And
yeah.
you know, I guess Renita sent you the death notice of was that of Doretha, where she had mentioned, is this,
Hmm.
yeah, the death notice of Doretha.
Yeah, I have that. I think I had that before she sent it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Um, oh, that's Aunt, Aunt Frankie, right? Aunt Frankie. That's who this picture is I'm looking at, right?
Oh, that's Saint John and Frankie.
All right. Okay.
The first one was Saint John.
Oh,
The second one's Frankie.
they like putting these boys in these dresses, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. And did you send that to Mandy and
No, because you didn't tell me who they were.
I told you.
And oh, now we weren't able to figure out this person, or were we? Who the Let me stop sharing the screen so you can see it better. I think that person.
Yeah, that's the one we still. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's,
that's
Selena.
I'm pretty sure that's Salida Augusta Gomez.
Oh, that's Salida. Okay, that's your grandmother,
When
right?
when what's his name?
Great.
When
That's her
Arsdale, when
great-grandmother.
the Laurent guy did the book, I had wrote on the back Salida Gomez, and you know they keep naming people after each other all through it,
Right.
and he put in the book that she was another Salida, and it's wrong, and so
Mm-hmm.
under the Salida that he had her, she was related to the Hermans. I mean, she's one of the Gomez, whatever, but she was related to Joan Scallon and them. So he
Right.
had her name under the wrong person, you know,
Oh,
had
I see.
under the wrong
Mm.
information. That's in one
Yeah.
of Laurent's
Yeah.
books. And it
So
was
yeah.
like I sent him pictures and put names on the back, and he put my grandfather as my mother's husband, you know, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm
So
pretty
yeah,
sure
we can sort all that out. Yeah, because yeah, there's a lot of stuff misinformation get out there, and this one, so we don't know which Francisco Gomez this is.
That's it, you're right.
Mother told me that was Francisco Salida, you know, that's married to Rosalie Stewart.
This marriage to Rosalie Stewart. Okay. Hmm.
Oh, the
Okay,
third?
and also we can probably get tell by the clothing too, to confirm, like, the time and date of that. Yeah. So, wow. But yeah, yeah, you gotta, yeah, you have gold. You just have all this gold you have just sitting on. So yeah, we need to,
I just sent you Mandy and the Nan.
okay.
Aunt Mandy,
Aunt Mandy.
Ramonda. This is what I'm saying. See, this is.
He has that. He has that.
Okay. Okay, there it is. Oh. So this is Romanda and who? Who's the other one?
Florida.
Oh, that's Florida. Okay. Oh, I can tell now that I can see her face. Yeah. Florida is on the left, right?
Okay, the short one is which one?
Florida's the taller one, I think.
With a hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like her. Yeah. You can tell her face though when you look at her in the other pictures, even the young picture of her that you sent, she's Yeah.
I understand our Gomez family was quite wealthy. From
Yeah,
Dr.
it
Meth
seems so.
here and all the organizations and the businesses, you know, that they
Mm-hmm.
had
Yeah.
and people started out in Pensacola, you know, as tenors. And
Right.
he also had slaves in Pensacola working for him because
Mm.
I can't think of a name now, somebody associated with Pensacola that's in the ancestry with on this Mobile Creole, she mentioned to me, and I don't even have it down on one of the pictures. She said, "Oh, I have information that he had slaves here, you know, in Pensacola."
Mm-hmm.
And then he brought all his business to Mobile, you know, so
Okay.
they were quite wealthy. And
Yeah.
mother said about all the homes that Nanaine had, you know, and everything. And
I think he has this one, right?
I asked him, does he have that one?
This is
That's
Mandy.
That's Romanda is the name. Higgins. Asked him, does he have that one?
I think he has this one.
I know who Romanda Higgins is.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, Romanda Gomez Higgins.
Send it to me.
Okay. I'm trying to turn it. Yeah, a lot of these pictures are faded or whatever, so
You just sent it to me.
I gotta change it.
She's sending you another picture of Romanda, what they call Aunt Mandy.
Okay.
She think you already have it.
Yeah. You know, now one of the persons, one of our ancestors that I haven't been able to figure out is, oh, I'm still recording this. I need to stop recording.